The Tuesday afternoon sitting of the Houses of Parliament was punctuated by two opposing protests outside Gordon House today. On the one hand, persons chanting for the protection of the Cockpit country from mining. On the other, mining company Noranda calling for the protection of jobs. First, the protesters calling for an end to plans for mining in the Cockpit country. TVJ's Krista Campbell reports.
The usual quiet along this cordoned-off section of Duke Street in Kingston, signaling Parliament is in session, was interrupted Tuesday afternoon by chants and other actions of protesters. Another day, another protest against plans for mining in the Cockpit country, now being dubbed the Amazon rainforest of Jamaica.
This is the beginning of a revolution.
A non-partisan protest involving community and the civic groups, reggae artists and other media personalities, church groups, at least one media house and other stakeholders. They say they're forming a coalition to fight for the protection of one of the island's last remaining natural resources.
Not even the boiling sun would deter these protesters today, as they were adamant their voices would be heard. From as early as 8 o'clock this morning, they started the massive protest at Hero Circle, which ended here on Duke Street, mere meters from Gordon House.
Sometime in the afternoon, permission granted for representatives of the protesting group to present their petition to Parliament. The protesters say they've sat with the Prime Minister, who indicated his willingness to support their call, but says the parliamentary process to abandon all plans for mining in the Cockpit area takes time. Further down the road from Gordon House, another protest by bauxite company Noranda, whom the coalition says has wrongfully accused them of making false declarations in some of their protests.
When the Norandas, they came and in their protest, they were saying that they gave back land. Where did they get this land from? They gave back school, and that they're not just raping the grounds, they are giving back. We don't want you to give back, we want you to avoid damaging our country. Because when they move away from those areas, nothing grows back there. We have the pictures to show off the barren lands left behind, where no yam can plant. What are you seeing there? No yam can plant. And none of these things that our country and the world depend on.
We have no problem with Noranda, other than to say to Noranda, go and find somewhere else to mine.
And opposition MP Michael Phillips agrees. He insists the government needs to meet with the people to try and address their issues. But he also stressed that mining companies need a change in their mindset if the negative impacts of mining are to be avoided.
We're seeing areas that are designated for agriculture being mined out, and at some point we have to, yes, weigh the environment and weigh the economic. What we need to do is start thinking about what after mining.
The coalition is insisting on alternatives.
You have places like Costa Rica that make 1.7 billion US dollar each year by just ecotourism. We can do that too. There are so many things down in the Cockpit that we can use to make a living.
The protesters are urging all well-thinking Jamaicans to join their cause, even as they insist they will not stop until their calls are answered.
Only God knows what will happen next, but we are absolutely confident that there shall be no mining in the Cockpit country.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.